Welcome into NBA Now. I'm Chase Sr. with Chat Sports, and the NBA trade deadline coming up on Thursday. And here's what we have coming your way here on Chat Sports. We're going to be live breaking it all down on YouTube. Wednesday, Harrison Graham and myself will be live at 4 o'clock Eastern. And then on Thursday, we're going to be live again as all of the trade news comes in. We're going to bring you all of the latest news, rumors, trades, and information going on all across the NBA. So be sure to subscribe to our main YouTube channel at youtube.com/chatsportstv. Hit that big red button down below and hit the notification button. That way, when we go live, you will be notified. So the Warriors are 22-21, ninth place in the Western Conference, so they could be active with the NBA trade deadline coming up on Thursday. And according to Shams, the Warriors are eyeing an interesting piece, Bogdan Bogdanovic. And also according to reports, the Warriors are interested in other players like Cedi Osman and one of the marquee players who could be on the block, Aaron Gordon, as well. And what's interesting is that the Warriors could be shopping one of their own players in Kelly Oubre Jr. There's no doubt about it that Steph Curry right now is playing at an MVP level, and when he comes back from that spinal cord contusion, he's going to continue to play at an MVP level. But the Warriors no doubt need some help, especially when you look at the Western Conference standings, because there is a lot of room to make up for the Warriors to make a serious playoff push. The Utah Jazz still in there at first place at 31-11, which is one of the best stories in the NBA so far this season. But as I said, there's Golden State at 22-21, one game over 500, ninth place in the Western Conference, and they've been so inconsistent. They have problems with depth and their second unit, as well as their defensive unit as well. And they've been a team that has been so up and down throughout the 2020-2021 year. But we've all watched Steph Curry ball out. Steve Kerr has as well. And when asked about whether or not the Warriors are going to be active with the trade deadline coming up, and if the Warriors should be active to take advantage of Steph Curry's prime, this is what Steve Kerr had to say. This theory that we have to win a championship when Steph's in his prime, well, hell yeah, that's what we're trying to do. Steve Kerr is a very smart man, and I totally agree with him because the Warriors do have to take advantage of Steph Curry averaging around 30 points per game. Klay Thompson ain't coming back until next year. Draymond Green ain't the same player. They need to make some upgrades. So I want to pose this question for you all. Should the Warriors make a deal leading up to Thursday's deadline? Hop into the comment section, type B for buy or type S for sell. Let's move on to Aaron Gordon now. So, according to The Athletic, Aaron Gordon requested a trade from the Orlando Magic back in February. His name has been in rumor circles for a long time as well. Aaron Gordon is uber athletic. He can be elite defensively when he is locked in. But when you're in a place and in an environment like Orlando, it's tough to stay engaged defensively all of the time. As for the teams that are interested, the Boston Celtics and the Golden State Warriors right now as we sit here on this Tuesday showing the most interest. Now, Aaron Gordon, since getting drafted 4th overall by the Magic out of the University of Arizona, has not turned into the superstar that a lot of people thought he was going to be. But we just popped up the numbers for you. He still can be a solid player. He is by no means elite, but he can hop on board a playoff contender, give that team an edge, and knock down some threes here and there. He's going to be an athletic force. And again, when he is engaged defensively, he can lock down the opposing team's number 1 or number 2 option. So this is what I want you to do. This is an interactive YouTube channel here at Chat Sports. This is your opportunity to join the show because we love getting your feedback and interacting with all of you. So rate your level interest in Aaron Gordon. Hop into the comment section and scale it for me from 1 to 10. I mentioned Bogdan Bogdanovic. Yeah, the Warriors are interested. And he's a really good player, a sharpshooter who last year put up numbers that were great. But he signed a long-term deal prior to the season with the Atlanta Hawks. He's missed some time due to injury, and his numbers are down this season. But when healthy, this guy can really play. And to make salaries match, if the Warriors want to go after Bogdanovic, they're probably going to have to part ways with Kelly Oubre Jr., whom they traded for back in November. But It might be worth it because when Bogdanovic is healthy, he's a sharpshooter and he's a really good offensive player who can either start for you or be a lethal option off the bench. When he was 100% healthy 2 years ago, this is what he was capable of doing, averaging more than 15 points per game. And then you look at the field goal percentage and the three-point percentage, he is an above-average three-point shooter who, when he's streaky, when he's hot, he can make it rain, and he can be a lethal shooter from the outside and a clutch bucket getter at that. So, yeah, he might have signed a long-term deal prior to the season, and he might be expensive, and you might have to part with Kelly Oubre Jr., but the plus here is that Oubre Jr., he's going to be a free agent after this season. Bogdanovic, on the other hand, he's under contract for a couple of seasons. So let me pose this question for you all. Would you be comfortable, if you're Bob Myers, swapping Kelly Oubre for Bogdanovic? Type Y for yes or type N for no. Let's talk more about Kelly Oubre Jr. According to reports, the Warriors have been shopping him for some time. He is on an expiring contract. And Oubre, if he hits the open market, a team like the Rockets who are interested in Oubre, they're going to pay him $15 to $20 million. And I don't necessarily think Oubre is worth that. You don't pay great for good, and I think Oubre is a good player, not a great player. I wouldn't break the bank for him and give him $20 million because the numbers don't reflect a $20 million a year player. He's solid, he's not great, but on the open market there are going to be suitors, and I don't think the Warriors are going to be willing to pay him a max contract or something close to that in the $15 to $20 million range. So what would you do? Would you re-sign Kelly Oubre and have him a part of this core and hope that Klay Thompson comes back and pair Oubre up with Klay and Steph and Draymond and James Wiseman? If so, type R for re-sign. Or if you don't think that the Warriors should re-sign Kelly Oubre, type D for deal him. Speaking of Steph Curry, he suffered that spinal cord contusion last week. It's not going to be a long-term injury. This is a day-to-day type thing for Steph. But he is not going to play against the Philadelphia 76ers tonight. So he is out for this game. He is day-to-day after suffering that spinal cord contusion. He's expected back sometime soon. There's no need to worry about Steph Curry and this injury lasting a long time. In the past, these injuries haven't lingered for a while. It's not going to linger for Steph. He'll be back soon, and no worries, he will return back to that MVP form. Trade deadline coming up, so to stay up to date with everything happening with the Golden State Warriors, hit that big red button down below. Subscribe to the channel. It's at youtube.com/WarriorsTV.